area of caution is probably the first half lap after the restart, and we saw that great shot early when John Bowe had the rears locked up going into turn one, and you know, all of a sudden you lean on the car like you have on all the previous laps, and it just doesn't have the grip. You can't pull it up. It doesn't load itself nearly as well in the middle of the corner, nor will it put its power down. Little blinker indication then from car 10.
Russell Engel
just to let Rusty go by.
Yep, that takes up 9th spot for the Enforcer. And here comes the Holden Racing Team. Commodore Scaife right behind him, making up big positions. So he's up behind the Pertec Ford now.
Simply mind-blowing, the speed that they take into that chase.
Murphy, Ellery, Winterbottom, Ritter up to 4th, pretty handily placed in that Team Brock Commodore. Radicic in 5th, Dumbrell in 6th.
Larry in the 11 car, Russell. Larry in front of you.
And you know how much they love each other.
Yeah, the SVR boys just letting Russell know that his former team boss, Larry Perkins, is actually in control of car 11. And here's Mark Scaife, who's at the tail of the top 10. He's behind Ingle. So Scaife in 10th position. The order reads Greg Murphy, Stephen Ellery, Mark Winterbottom, Greg Ritter, Paul Radicic, Paul Dumbrell, John Clellan, Larry Perkins, Russell Ingle, and then this man, Mark Scaife.
I stood down at the chase on Friday and watched the cars go through, and it was just fantastic, the speed with which they cover that bit of ground down there, and just looking at the liveliness in the chassis and the different ride control in each of the different cars. Certainly the key contenders, big, wide variation of performance down there. By the time you get to this point in the weekend, though, after everybody's had a bit of a fiddle, they all start to look a little bit alike. But early in the weekend, there were some pogo sticks down there.
Murphy, 1.4 seconds to lead over Ellery in 2nd. Another 1.5 seconds back to Winterbottom in 3rd. We're on board with Mark Scaife. Right up behind Russell Ingle in car 4. So the two Stone Brothers Fords very competitively placed at this stage of the race. He's gone half distance.
He's got pace on him, hasn't he?
Sure does.
Mind you, Russell's also trapped in under the back of Larry, so that'll also be affecting his lap speed. He's in the hot air of the other car. He'll get a gain from it down the straight, but it also blinds him when he wants to pick his critical braking point. Let's go on board with Mark Scaife. Have a listen to this.
Turn 1. On the limiter down there when it's in the slipstream of Russell's car.
He's flat shifting in the straight gate gears, but second to third, Mark used the clutch coming off Forest Elbow just so he doesn't wrong slot it, poke it in first gear.
I can believe how much grunt this thing's got up Mountain Straight. 6th gear on the hard cut approaching turn 2. That is unbelievable.
Lowndes is going with him, and they're all bottled up a bit behind Larry at the moment, whose last lap was a 12-1, and that's dictating the pace. Can he get up the inside this time?
Oh.
No.
He had to think about it, Russell Ingall, and then thought twice before Shell Corner.
This is costing these blokes a good couple of seconds on the leader. Murphy's last lap 10.3. Ellery was 11.1. Winterbottom 11.2. You go back down to these guys 8, 9, 10. They're in the 12s.
Yeah. So once again, Larry's getting a bit of a queue behind him. He's proving a tough customer to pass. That Castrol Commodore's got plenty of grunt in a straight line, and even if he's a little bit slower out of the turns, he can hold them on the straight stuff.
Down in the garages is Grant Kenny with Glenn Seaton.
Glenn, pretty warm out there, mate. Yeah, it was warm. Naturally, we're going to get back to my open face helmet because we've got a filtering system on the helmet which usually blows air, but it's not working, so I've got a bit warm in that stint, so I'm just going to change back. Got one of those physiological things wrong with me, I think. It's just it's very hard to deal with the heat.
You were telling me before that the heat is not just a problem in terms of, you know, how you feel, but it's actually affecting your concentration as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt when you get to a point where you get very hot, you struggle a little bit. There's no doubt about that, and I want to get back to getting back to the open face helmet, which I don't feel is claustrophobic, and got a bit more breeze around me.
After you've moved to Queensland, you'll be much more acclimatised. You're running 11th at the moment. Good luck for the rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you very much.
He's headed north, Cito, now that he's been released of the owner duties. And battle at Forest Elbow.
Scaife's anxious to get past. As 2 is Russell Ingall. They're both stuck behind Larry Perkins, lap after lap after lap. We saw this earlier in the race. And meanwhile, Greg Murphy, 3.2 seconds the lead over Ellery. He's 3.1 seconds up the road from Winterbottom.
Glenn mentioned the fact about heat and fatigue, but if you factor in this kind of situation, Neil, you've got frustration into it as well, because these guys need to get past Larry.
Well, Larry's fighting for position, though. It must be said. He doesn't have to open the door and say, pass, fellas. They got to work for it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mark. You hit the nail on the head there. He's in position.
He's got every right. He's driving a clean line.
Counselling for Russell Ingall from the team. Just be patient, be patient.
See, Larry's not doing anything dirty here. He's just driving a conservative line.
Yeah, what he's saying is if you've got a good enough car and you're in a good position and you can make a clean pass, go your hardest, baby.
Yep. Now look at this Castrol car. Isn't this thing hauling the mail up the hill? Look at this. He's actually opening a little bit of a gap on the Pertec Ford, even though he's sitting in the draft. He's trying to use that to shoot past Perkins under brakes, but the Castrol car is excellent.
He's a cagey boy.
As well.
He's a cagey boy. He just snuck about 2 feet to the right, then at the critical spot. There's just enough of a disincentive for Russell to not want to go up the inside. You don't have to move very much to occupy the ground. The lights have come on in the number 4 car. Russell's beginning to lose patience, and the boys are starting to all climb on top of each other here.
I guess there'd be oh, he's going to have a go here. Oh. I guess there'd be an engine temperature issue here too, Neil, because I know when you're sitting in that draft, the engine's starting to spike a bit, isn't it?
Particularly if you're 3 or 4 cars back, you can often get a rise of 20 or 30 degrees, believe it or not, because of the amount of hot air that's spilling out the back of the preceding car. And everybody will be seeing that on their telemetry downstairs at the moment. So if you're at SPR, HRT, FPR or at 888 and you're looking at the telemetry readouts down there, I'll bet the eyebrows are beginning to raise. All the data geeks and the engine guys start to jump up and down and get sweaty.
Look at Scaife, he's getting very sweaty. He's closer to Ingall than he's been for a long time, really muscling him as they come out of the elbow. And the thing is, I guess they want to use the draft from the Perkins car if they're going to try and slingshot past, but equally that's staying in that draft and keeping the engine temperatures high, so it's a real juggling act.
See, Larry's got a margin here.
Look at that.
They're not threatening him at all. No. So someone will have to offer up more pace if they're going to get at him.
Perkins in 8th, Ingall 9th, Scaife 10th, Lowndes 11th, Dean Canto is at the end of this 5-way battle in 12th position. And LP shows no signs of giving in.
Oh,
Stephen Johnson,
17.
car 17.
Now, that's just coming out of the forward cutting. He hasn't made it to the top of the hill, and he's going to try and back it into this gap in the wall.
Last stop for that car was lap 75, so it's only recently been in.
And she is kaput. Not even running.
The next issue with that group of cars that we were looking at is that they're catching up to another pack of slightly slower cars. Here they are here. There's Magnussen, Manassian car, McConville and so on, and that'll further put some anxieties into this little group here.
Well, this is the lap. This is the story of the lap times. Murphy's done a 2:10.8. He's leading this one. Ellery a 10:7. Winterbottom a 10:7. They're all fine. You go back behind Radicic, and you get behind Perkins, and they're all 12s. So this is a great buffer for Greg Murphy. He's just sprinting away at the front.
Well, within those 5 cars, there's 11 titles shared across the first 4. Larry's got 6, Russell's got 2, Mark's got 4, Craig's got 1. Every single guy on the lead lap wants another one, or their first. The battle for the Bob Jane T-Marts 1000 is now into its second half.
We're back. And there is a number of battles, in fact, going on in the Bob Jane T-Marts 1000. Up front, Greg Murphy looking for a very handy 192 championship points. We haven't mentioned that for a while, but the championship is still alive. Brought to you by VB and, of course, Big Pond. And while we're on that subject, a big thank you to FHM Magazine for their great support of this event in 2003. A 12-page supplement which we trust you at home have managed to grab hold of and inform yourself about the great race. Now, Ellery is in second, Winterbottom third, and you're looking at one of the interesting battles here, Winterbottom versus Ritter.
This is the battle for third place, Billy. It's a beauty. The young guns, Mark Winterbottom, reigning 2003 Konica Series champion. Ritter, he managed to jag a drive with Team Brock after he lost his 00 motorsport gig at the beginning of the year. And they are locked in an absolute ding-dong here. Stephen Ellery in second, just up the road from him. Murphy is 6.4 seconds in front of the Super Cheap Autos Ford, so he's got this by the throat at the moment.
Shell Helix race score going across your screen tells the story. Richards and Perkins, Larry in 8th, then Ingle in 9th, Scaife in 10th. And I can tell you that as the cloud cover starts to get thicker, the temperatures are heading downwards. 22 air temperature, 33 track temperature. In the last 15 minutes, both of those have dropped around 4 degrees.
Murphy last lap 10.4.
Good buddy. It's got
10.4. You're an idiot. 10.4 for Stephen Ellery. 10.6 for Winterbottom. That was.
Oh, that was close. That was too close, Stephen.
10.5 for Ritter. 10.9 for Cleland. 11.3 Dumbrell. 11.7 Radicic. 11.7 for Larry.
He is pushing very, very hard on this car.
12.9. Scaife 13 flat. Canto 13 flat, who is the one threatening Scaife, and Lowndes 12.7. That's the pace of the key runners at the moment.
Ellery's got a sniff of the lead here. He knows Murphy's 6.5 seconds up the road, and he is pushing very, very hard. Look at the amount of tape and the attitude on the car. 2 wheels off the deck, dumps it on the outside wheels through McPhillamy Park. He is driving every lap like a qualifier here. 29 years of age, Stephen Ellery. Outstanding performance to climb onto the podium at Sandown 4 weeks ago. But he put in an equally impressive drive here back in 1996 with Tony Longhurst. He did a back-to-back stint as a relative unknown and got that car at 3rd place on the podium. So he knows how to motor around here.
I can't remember the precise year, but it was a year only, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, where he was very quick here as well. Ultimately, I think he ended up in the wall at one point down at Forest Elbow, but he has been very, very quick here in previous years, and he's in a good, fast rhythm here at the moment. That car's flying. Grant?
Dick Johnson, the number 17 car, what's happened with it? It's parked up there.
Well, apparently there's some electrical problem there somewhere, but he's got out and had a bit of a fiddle under the bonnet, and they've just told me that he's got the thing going again, but obviously a couple of laps down, which will sort of put us